们，大家晚上好，欢迎收看《洋厨房卖家秀买家秀》，我是刘烨。很多人啊，可能平时啊都跟我一样啊，会在家里呢烧个菜，但是觉得呢要花好长的时间啊，而且这个味道啊也不一定会好。那么怎么样才能够在短时间内啊，甚至是5分钟内能够烧出一道满意的菜肴呢？我们来看看唐娜的卖家秀，应该就能学到几招喽。
Welcome to Donal's Meals in Minutes, a kitchen survival guide to modern life. It's packed full of quick cooking meals, time-saving techniques, and tips and tricks to help you make the most of your time in the kitchen. Whether it's meal prep, using leftovers, one-pot wonders, or cheat ingredients, there's something for everyone. These no-nonsense recipes will help you redefine how you cook. And for the health-conscious, we've had each dish tested for its nutritional content. We'll also be showcasing some of Ireland's most interesting modern chefs that know how to make tasty, no-nonsense food. To spice things up a bit, I'm going to try and cook a meal in 5 minutes. Modern life calls for a modern way of cooking, so sit back, tune in those taste buds, and enjoy. Donal's Meals in Minutes. Meals in Minutes is jam-packed full of quick cooking recipes, tips and techniques to get you quick cooking in the kitchen. And this week I've chosen 5 of my favourite recipes that are a surefire way to get great results in the kitchen in the least amount of time possible. This glorious noodle salad is full of my favourite Asian flavours, and I'll also tackle a one-pan chicken classic that's ready in minutes. I'm going for another frantic 5-minute challenge. I'm starting to feel a bit confident, so I'm going to take my time. I hope I don't regret that. All that and lots more coming up on Donal's Meals in Minutes. Now, I absolutely love Asian food, and this next recipe delivers a speedy supper without too much work. Get the noodles into a large boiling pot of water. Cook until tender and then drain. In a small pan, add some chili oil, garlic, and chopped chilies. Stir on a medium heat to release the flavour. Now get the peanut butter in and give it all a good mix through. Add a dash of soy sauce, rice vinegar, and some sesame oil. Loosen the mixture with a bit of reserved water from the noodles. Now pour the noodles into a bowl and get that spicy peanut mixture in on top. Sprinkle over some chopped spring onions and a tablespoon of sesame seeds. Mix it all together to coat the noodles and serve in a bowl. Garnish with some more chopped chili, spring onion, and sesame seeds for texture. Put down the phone, don't call the takeaway. I have a 15-minute meal which is going to deliver on speed and deliciousness. This is a chicken cacciatore that is so simple, anyone can do it. My main aim with this recipe is to show you that you can create deep, dark, delicious stew-like flavours in 15 minutes. We're going to start off by creating the base flavours for this dish. Slice up an onion. You want nice thin little slivers on your onion. Just like any good stew, an onion creates that base sweetness and that base flavour. Same thing with some garlic. Just nice thin slices. Chicken cacciatore is essentially an Italian hunter's stew, and normally it would be cooked low and slow. But when you're stuck for time, low and slow doesn't really work. So we're going quick and fast, and we're still going to deliver on flavour. Right, garlic, onion sliced up, 1 pepper. You just want this in nice little slivers that are going to cook up quite quickly. Peppers, onions, garlic, sliced up. That is the majority of the work you're going to need. And now we need to talk chicken. So I've got 4 breasts here. To speed up our cooking time, you're going to take that breast, lay your hand flat on the chicken breast, and just run that knife across. Essentially what you're trying to do is go almost all the way, and then you can lay it out. And essentially you've got this nice little butterfly chicken, which is going to cook much quicker than the whole breast. Repeat the process with the remaining chicken breasts and make sure to wash your hands thoroughly when you're finished. Now get some oil into a pan on a high heat. Season the chicken with salt and pepper, and when the pan is nice and hot, it's time to get them frying. Season the other side once they're in, and while they cook, chop up some baby potatoes into quarters. Keep an eye on the chicken and turn them when they get a nice brown colour. The chicken is looking good, it's browned on one side, and now I'm just going to nestle them all in together, leaving a little bit of space for our veggies, our potatoes, our garlic, and those peppers. Just take your time at this point, making sure those onions get coated in the chicken juices and that little bit of fat that's in there, and then just keep moving it. I'm going to try and help soften down the onions as quickly as possible here. While the onions are softening down, let's talk aromatics. We've got some rosemary and a little bit of thyme, and all you've got to do in this situation is just take little touches of them. And it might seem like a small little thing, but that little hit of rosemary and thyme, it just brings this dish alive. The minute they go in the pan, you can smell it, and that's a good sign. With this quick cooking dish, you do need to make sure the temperature is constantly up. So I have this almost at the highest heat, but because there's quite a lot going on in the pan, it's not searing at the bottom, or it's not catching at the bottom. And I'm getting cooked chicken, I'm getting those onions nicely softened. And at this point now, I think we can go in there with a little bit of white wine. You're going for about a glass of wine here. Smell, once that goes in, it's sweet and it's subtle. And you want to just bring that up to a simmering point. It's going to simmer away for about 30 seconds or so. It's time to get in there with some tomato passata, a really good store-cupboard ingredient. Pour in that tomato passata all over the chicken. Just start bringing it together. The wine, the tomatoes, all those great flavours. Now, if you need to top this up with a little bit of stock, just use some chicken stock. But at this point now, we've done all the hard work. The lid goes on. This is going to come up to bubbling. We're going to leave it to cook for 8 solid minutes at a high temperature, just until everything comes together. Eight minutes later, we have a chicken stew. Last little touch, some olives. And we've got some basil. Just tear those leaves in there. Give it a little stir, just to incorporate those ingredients. Grab up a spoon. You want to get all those great bits, the potatoes, the peppers, those gorgeous stewy juices. One of our butterfly chicken breasts just on the top. This is good to tuck into. Quick and fast has delivered serious flavour. Harry's Shack is nestled on the North Antrim coast, and seafood is the star of the show. Restaurateur Donal Doherty and head chef Derek Craig are taking a more casual approach to fine dining.
One of the things we wanted to do was go and find a coastal place that really matched that fish and vegetables and everything into really a lifestyle location. And I came across this in 2013, and I nearly fell over with excitement. Working with the fishermen, the producers, the growers, putting their names on menus, getting them excited to be part of it. So yeah, we're trying to find those little gems up here and match them into our menus and make it special and make people feel they're tasting the North Coast. Derek Craig drives the food in the Harry's here in Harry's Shack. Derek's one of the best chefs ever to come out of this region, working in the top restaurants in the UK.
Moving back home, personally, it was huge. Fine dining over there was great, working at the Fat Duck and West. There's brilliant grounding. To come back and then into Harry's, using those techniques, using that energy and making Harry's work. I mean, I've simplified my food. I've gone away from the fine dining. I've had to become more casual.
5 years ago, we set up our own wall garden growing operation. So in the mornings, we literally pick fresh salads and vegetables and beetroots that go straight onto our menus.
You're chatting to someone that's so fresh, there's no pesticides, it's so flavoursome that my job is really easy with that.
Myself and Derek are driven by the freshness, that fish, those vegetables coming out of the garden, all the other little local producers that we celebrate on our menus, and then driving that forward in casual environments, making it accessible. That's the thing about Derek. He brings out flavours that are unimaginable.
I'm in my mid-40s now. I'm as hungry, I'm as energetic as I ever was. So you're up early in the morning, you're doing stuff that you wouldn't necessarily actually think you would be doing at this stage of your career, but I love it.
The ethos here is really working with the local producers, finding the best possible, freshest ingredients. The location feeds into that, the sand blowing through the doors, the wooden tables, the stripped-back nature of it all. And yet at the end of it, you're with a plate or a bowl of fabulous food for everyone to enjoy.
Taking fine dining and making it quick and casual without compromising on quality is what Meals in Minutes is all about. For this next recipe on Donal's Meals in Minutes, I'm going to show you a 15-minute meal that is going to satisfy all your needs. It is super simple to make, and best of all, it is seriously delicious. Get the stock into a pan on a medium heat. Add in the pesto, passata, and the angel hair pasta. Give it a stir and cook until the pasta is tender. Then add in the chickpeas and frozen spinach and stir it through. When it's all nicely combined, serve it in a bowl and garnish with some basil and some shavings of Parmesan cheese. One of the things I want to get across is that quick cooking doesn't have to compromise on taste or flavour. Now, this next recipe is inspired by my love of Asian food, and it doesn't compromise on either. With a recipe like this, you don't always have to have a wok. You can do this in a large frying pan. This recipe is extremely quick and extremely simple. So we're going to start off by chopping up some garlic and some chilli, and this is going to form the basis for our dressing. These sorts of flavours lend themselves extremely well to quick cooking meals. You've got spiciness, you've got vibrancy, and it all comes together as soon as it hits that hot frying pan. Chop the garlic and chilli as finely as possible. Then do exactly the same to some lemongrass. If you don't have it, the zest of a lime will give you all the fragrance you're looking for. For a salty kick, get 3 tablespoons of fish sauce into a bowl and balance it with some sugar. Add the juice of a lime to amp up the freshness, and then give it a stir through until the sugar has dissolved. Pour in the chopped veg and give it all a good mix through. And now, just transfer a few teaspoons of that into another bowl, which is going to work as the marinade for this beef. So we've got our dressing, we've got our marinade. I'm going to get the pan on. Because this is a quick cooking meal, I can get straight on there, bring that up to a nice high heat, and while it's coming up to temperature, I'm going to trim up this steak. Now, just take off any of that excess fat. We're going to slice this up, so you want to get rid of as much fat as you can. With this steak, you're looking for really nice thin slivers, so make sure you have a super sharp knife. And essentially, once it's cut down, all the rest of this is ready to come together. Okay, I've got them as thin as I can go, as quickly as I can go. Straight into that marinade. Give it all a good mix through. Now, if you have the time, you can leave this to marinate and let it sit. But really, what that sauce, that fish sauce, that sugar, and the lime juice is going to do is hit that meat straight away and give great flavour. And as soon as this hits that pan, it's just going to become electric. The steak is ready to go in the pan. Now, it is at a smoking point. Do not be afraid of your pan at this point. This is the temperature you need to pan fry the steak really quickly. Straight in the pan, you're looking for that sizzle, which is exactly what we've got. Move it around the pan ever so slightly at this stage and just get it nicely coated in a touch of that oil. And then the tendency is when you're wok frying or you're pan frying like this with meat is to move it around really quickly. I always move it around at the start, then leave it to sit just to catch a little bit, and then move it around again. If you do keep moving it around, it just lowers the temperature in the pan and it'll start to stew. And what you're looking for is really nice brown bits on the edges of these steak strips. Now, while that's frying away, I'm going to keep my attention on it, give the hands a quick wash, and now we need to talk about this salad. As that steak cooks down, this salad comes together in the exact same time as it cooks. So, grab up a bowl. We're going to build a nice little parcel of ingredients that the steak is essentially going to top. These rice noodles are cooked off. They're really simple to make, and all you've got to do is plunge them into boiling water. It takes about a minute or so for them to go tender. And once they are, just drain them and rinse them under some cold water. To top these noodles, we have some bean sprouts. That nice crunch from the bean sprouts. I'm also going to grab up some cucumber, but before I do, I need to give some attention to this steak. It's looking pretty good right now, and it smells so gorgeous. The key thing here is actually not to overcook, so I'm actually going to take this out, straight out. It took, what, 2-3 minutes, just until the steak is nice and tender. And now it's all about building that final touch to the salad. So we've got the bean sprouts, we've got the rice noodles. I'm going to take some cucumber and using one of these little peelers, just take nice thin little strips of cucumber. So just take those little cucumbers and turn them into nice curls in and around this dish. Okay, this is looking good. We're getting there. Last little touch is some finely sliced shallots. Some spring onions will do if you can't get shallots, but it just gives you that final little hum of onion in there. Sprinkle that in and around. We're going to top it with those little slivers of beef and then give it a good drizzle of that dressing just around those noodles. Make sure to be generous with that dressing because as you eat this, you want to toss through all those ingredients and coat those lovely noodles in all that heat. Finish it now with some chopped salted peanuts, really great crunch. And then I can't help but add a little bit of freshness from some coriander just over the top. And why not? There's a little bit of mint there too. Really great fresh flavors. And you can see in a matter of minutes, that is a dish ready to go. You've got dinner on the table in less than 15 minutes. It is deserving of a taste. That is seriously good. I am always on the go and no 2 days are the same, which can be a bit tricky when it comes to making healthy food choices. Now, meal preparation is a great way to find more balance in my diet and ultimately eat better. Get half the chickpeas into a food processor. Then add in the breadcrumbs, tahini and an egg. Cumin and coriander are going to add great flavour here and it starts to come alive when you give it all a whiz. When the mixture's smooth, throw in the spring onions, remaining chickpeas, season with salt and pepper and give it all a good mix. Once it comes together, form into small balls. Fry them in a little oil on a medium heat for 5 minutes on each side. You want them to be crispy and golden. When they're ready, serve them up with a salad of your choice and a spoonful of yogurt dressing. Okay, meal prep doesn't necessarily mean you have to cook all your meals in advance. Instead, you can focus on a few core ingredients that you can cook up and ultimately save yourself time during the week. This challenge is all about quick cooking. It's 5 minutes. It's all these ingredients I have laid out. This is a flash fried lamb steak with a quick bean stew. I have 5 minutes on the clock, which I'm going to start right now. We are rolling, so let's get cooking. Now, pan on. Quick heat, we need it in the pan right now. So, right up to temperature, add a little drop of oil to the pan. We want to get that right up to heat. We've got a lamb steak. Now, this comes from the lamb leg. You get a lamb steak that is beautiful and quick to cook. So, to flavour it up, we have some garlic. I'm just taking nice thin little slices of that garlic. And we're going to get lovely flavour from the garlic. And to add to that flavour, we've also got some rosemary. Rosemary and lamb are absolute classics. People normally think of lamb as something that is slow cooked in the oven. This one is all about a point of difference, which is quick cooking. So, rattle through that rosemary, and you want nice little slivers of rosemary. You don't have to worry too much. It's all about the flavor and adding the flavor in here. It smells so wonderful and aromatic as soon as you start chopping that herb. Straight into our lamb. I am now at the 4-minute mark. We've oil in the pan, we've the rosemary and the lamb all looking good. What else am I missing? Drop of balsamic vinegar. Give that a little drizzle in there. Sweetness and acidity from the balsamic vinegar. Also some olive oil. Just a little drizzle, and we're going to get straight in there, give it a good massage, and make sure that all that flavour gets in there. Now, there is a little bit of fat that runs through this lamb steak, and you want to render that out, so we need to get straight in there with all these flavours into that pan. It should be up at a nice sizzling temperature, which I'm pretty glad it is. Give the hands a quick wash. Make sure they're nice and clean. That lamb is cooking away, and we're going to leave it to sear on that one side while we prep the bean stew, essentially. So, for that, we have cherry tomatoes. Now, the cherry tomatoes are not only going to be absolutely delicious in here, but they're going to add sweetness, and they're going to help to create a sauce. So slice them in half just to make sure that when they hit the pan, all those lovely juices come out. Bean stew needs some beans, and I'm using some cannellini beans, which are drained and rinsed from a tin. They're going to go in with these tomatoes. And what I love most about this dish is just how adaptable it is. I have some spinach, but you could use kale, some rainbow chard, whatever you can get your hands on. This goes in alongside that lamb, which at this point should have a nice sear on it. I know it's only been in there a few seconds, but yeah, we're getting some lovely colour. You want that colour before you turn it over, so that's what you're after. Give it a little shake with all those tomatoes in there. And now it's time for our beans. So, beans go straight in here. This is a portion for about one person. And it's going to be so delicious. The smells that are wafting up. It is absolutely gorgeous. 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. I think I've got all my ingredients. The next thing we need to add in here is some stock. So come back over here and have a look. We're going to add a little veggie stock. Remember, we've got all that great sear on the other side. So don't worry too much about the other side now. We're going to get in there with some salt and some pepper. Give it a good drizzle. Heat back up high on that pan. You want to get it straight up there and sizzling. Keep that seasoning going and make sure that it's going to taste absolutely gorgeous. Next ingredient at this point is some spinach. A good handful of spinach into that pan. Don't be afraid of using too much spinach here, because as soon as it goes into that pan, it's just going to slowly wilt down. So just help it along. Just turn it and make sure that it gets coated with those great beans, the tomatoes and the lamb, and it smells so wonderful at this point. I cannot tell you, this is where they need to invent smell-o-vision, because it is wafting my way and it's wafting your way, and it's going to be so gorgeous. Right, time check, 1 minute and 25 seconds. Give that pan a good shake. This is the time to take a little bit of time in the pan and allow those tomatoes to break down. You can press them with the back of your tongs. Your lamb should be cooking away nicely. I'm looking for a lovely sort of pink in the middle of my lamb, so don't worry about this too much if it's not perfectly cooked all the way through. I like it to be nice and rare. This smells wonderful. It's starting to come together and look gorgeous. We've 1 minute left on the clock. I'm starting to feel a bit confident, so I'm going to take my time. I hope I don't regret that. Okay, so lamb is looking good at this point. I'm actually going to take it out and slice it up. I think we should be good, yeah. Look at that, gorgeous lamb. Look how sweet and delicious that looks. So just take this nice slivers and beautifully pink in the inside. If you had more time, of course, you could leave it to rest, but look how pink and gorgeous that is in the middle. I really think with lamb like this, you want to just give it a generous seasoning once it comes off that pan. We are 26 seconds away from the finish. This is looking gorgeous. I'm going to serve this straight out into our bowl. Oh my goodness. Bean stew in absolutely minutes, and it looks spectacular. I've got 13 seconds. We were going right up to the wire. Okay, straight on with those lovely little slivers of lamb right over the top. And then, just to finish it off, a tiny last touch of sea salt with 2 seconds to go. And there you have it, my friends. Done. Bean stew, looking gorgeous. A meal in minutes. That's it. Quick and tasty meals in minutes. Give them a go and don't be afraid to experiment.
好了，看了我们大厨介绍的这个烹饪技巧啊，相信你以后在家里也能够快速的烧出几道让人赞不绝口的美食。好了，我们今天的节目就到这里，感谢您的收看，我们下周同一时间再见。